For years, I thought food was my problem. Then one night I had three different dinners. Not over the course of a day, not in the course of an evening, three separate dinners in 45 minutes. By the time I went to bed, I was convinced my problem was a lack of willpower. But looking back, food wasn't actually the problem. My thoughts were. And as a coach, I've learned they just weren't my thoughts. Years later, after learning about cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, and then revisiting these ideas in a book called The New Mood Therapy, I started noticing certain thought patterns everywhere, not just in myself, but in clients, in people trying to lose weight, people trying to maintain weight, in people taking GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound, who are realizing that even though the medication quieted the physical hunger and reduced the food noise, there are still these mental traps running in the background. Different people, different stories, same thoughts. And once I started to see them, I couldn't unsee them. Cognitive behavioral therapy is this idea that your thoughts create your feelings and your feelings dictate your actions. And today, I want to share 5 of the biggest thought patterns that quietly fueled my overeating, my guilt, my all or nothing relationship with food, and honestly, some pretty disordered eating behavior. My name is Sarah Heilman. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition and health coach who lost 65 pounds and maintained that weight loss for well over a decade. Now, I'm not a therapist. I'm simply someone who spent years believing that my thoughts were telling me the truth. And if you've ever found yourself starting over every Monday, battling food noise, feeling like your weight loss journey is harder than it should be, or feeling like you are constantly messing up, there's a good chance that one of these thoughts is showing up in your life too. Years ago, I was waiting tables in college, and it had been one of those shifts where everything just felt hard. I was exhausted, I was stressed, and because I was trying to be good on my diet, I hadn't eaten nearly enough that day. The shift finally ended. I get in my car, I start to drive home, and on my way home, I'm finding all of these fast food restaurants along the way, and I see a Five Guys in the distance. So I pull into Five Guys, I order the burger and fries, and then I sat in the parking lot and I absolutely inhaled it. The burger was gone, the fries were gone, and honestly, I wasn't hungry anymore. But then I looked up and saw a McDonald's, and a thought immediately popped into my head. Well, I already screwed up. And here's what's interesting. At that point, I knew I wasn't hungry anymore. I had just eaten the burger and the fries. I was full. But somehow, that didn't even matter because the moment I decided I had failed, my hunger cues stopped being relevant. My brain wasn't asking, "Are you still hungry?" My brain was asking, "How badly did you mess up?" So I drove through McDonald's. I ordered a chicken sandwich, more fries, ice cream, and I ate all of that too. And then the shame hit hard. I stuffed all of the wrappers into the McDonald's bag and I found a public trash can and discarded the evidence. Then I drove home. When I walked through the front door, my roommate, with a smile, said, "Hey, I made dinner." I was too embarrassed to admit what I had just done. So I sat down and ate again. 3 dinners, 45 minutes. I went to bed that night convinced I was broken, convinced I lacked discipline, convinced that something was wrong with me. But looking back, the burger wasn't the problem. The thought was, and that thought wasn't the only one running the show. And honestly, that's why I'm making this video. Because for years, I thought I was the only person who thought this way. But then I became a coach. And I started hearing the exact same thoughts come out of other people's mouths. If you're trying to lose weight, maintain weight, navigate life on a GLP-1 medication, or simply build a healthier relationship with food, make sure you subscribe because this is the exact kind of thing we're gonna keep talking about on this channel. All right, let's get to that first thought pattern that quietly fueled all of this. Thought number 1 is should statements. As I like to say, stop shoulding all over yourself. When I was 16 years old, I joined Weight Watchers. Every Wednesday was weigh-in day, and I remember being at school on a Wednesday at lunch, and a kid looked over at me and said, "Where's your lunch?" And I said, oh, I don't eat lunch on Wednesdays, as if that was a completely normal sentence to say. I didn't eat lunch because I wanted that gold star. I needed the scale to be lower at weigh-in. Think about that. The goal wasn't actually becoming healthier. The goal was getting the number to cooperate. My brain constantly sounded like this. I should eat this, I shouldn't eat that, I should work out, I should get off the couch, I should be further along, I shouldn't be hungry. And most of these thoughts showed up after a binge. I'd overeat and the immediate thought would be, I shouldn't have done that. So then I'd restrict, and then I'd binge, and then the guilt would set in, and then I'd restrict again. Round and round we went. And the crazy part, I thought this was discipline. I thought guilt was helping me. I thought criticizing myself was motivation, but it wasn't. It was gasoline on the fire. And the more I should it all over myself, the worse things got. Thought number 2 is magnification. Years ago, I was at the beach and I decided to take on the Gorilla Split Challenge. This was a massive sundae. We're talking 8 scoops of ice cream, 8 toppings, you name it. And you finish it and you get a t-shirt. Well, I finished it and I almost immediately regretted it. I felt physically sick and my brain instantly went to, you shouldn't have done that. But this wasn't about the ice cream. This is how I treated everything. One meal off plan, disaster. One vacation, disaster. One birthday party, disaster. One restaurant meal, disaster. I took tiny events and moments and blew them completely out of proportion. And I still see people doing this all the time, especially people on GLP-1s like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound. One high calorie meal and suddenly they feel like they've ruined everything. No, you just had a meal. And the problem wasn't the meal. The problem is turning the meal into a catastrophe. Thought number 3 is disqualifying the positive. This still shows up in my life today. Let's say I planned 3 workouts for the week and I completed 2 workouts. I missed 1. Guess which workout my brain decides to focus on? The one I missed. Not the 2 I completed, the one I missed. During my original 65-pound weight loss journey, it looked a lot like this. Lose 10 pounds. Yeah, but I still have 55 to go. Lose 20 pounds. Yeah, but I still don't like the way I look. Lose 30 pounds. Yeah, but look at my stomach. There was always a yeah, but. And eventually, you stop enjoying the progress because your brain refuses to let it count. And honestly, I see this all the time with weight loss clients, regardless if they're taking GLP-1s or not. I lost 20 pounds, but I lost 40 pounds, but I can lift heavier weights, but my clothes fit better, but there's always a but. And if you're not careful, you can be succeeding and still feel like you're failing. This is the heavyweight. This is the one that probably causes the most damage. It's all or nothing thinking. You're either perfect or you're a failure. You're either on the wagon or you're off the wagon. There is no in between. There's no middle ground. And honestly, the entire diet industry thrives on this. This is exactly what happened the night of the 3 dinners. The second I ate the burger, I decided my day was ruined. Not the meal, the day. And once the day was ruined, what difference did McDonald's make? What difference did a 3rd dinner make? I used to do this around vacations too. Perfect food, perfect workouts, perfect consistency. Then vacation started and a switch flipped. It was like everything went out the window and it was a free-for-all. I would eat until I was so uncomfortable, and I'd tell myself that I'd start over when I got home. But I would spend the entire trip just feeling sluggish and miserable, and I would need a vacation from the vacation. The burger didn't cause the damage. The thought did. And the thought said, you already failed. And that's the trap. Underneath all of these thoughts sits the biggest one of all. Thought number 5 is overgeneralization. This is when one bad moment becomes your entire identity. One vacation, one birthday, one rough weekend, one missed workout, and suddenly your brain says, see, you always do this. You can never stick to anything. Here we go again. That phrase, here we go again. Now, I don't think I've ever given up on myself, but I have definitely surrendered at times. I would have 2 great weeks and there would be one event, one party, one mistake, and suddenly it felt like all the evidence disappeared. Like that moment proved that I would always struggle, always fail, always end up right back where I started. But one moment is not an identity. One bad decision isn't a personality trait. And one setback doesn't get to decide your future. For years, I thought I was failing. But looking back, I don't think I was failing at all. I think I was trying to build a body with a mindset that was rooted in guilt, in punishment, perfectionism, and fear. And maybe you've been doing the same thing. Maybe you aren't broken. Maybe you aren't lazy. Maybe you aren't weak. Maybe you've simply been operating from a set of beliefs that were never designed to help you succeed. The truth is, many of these thoughts were rewarded. Diet culture rewarded them. Weight loss programs rewarded them. Sometimes family and friends rewarded them. The scale rewarded them, which is exactly why they can feel so normal. But that doesn't mean they have to keep running the show, because the story you've been telling yourself for years doesn't have to be the story you keep living. And if you've ever caught yourself saying, I always do this, or I'll start over on Monday, or here we go again, let me know in the comments. Because I have a feeling that a lot more of us have experienced these thoughts than we realize. And here's the crazy part. I thought losing 65 pounds would erase these thoughts, would make them disappear, but it didn't. They just evolved. In the next episode, I am sharing the other 5 cognitive distortions that still show up in my life today and during my 90-day rebuild, including a conversation with my physical therapist that completely caught me off guard, because what he saw and what I saw were 2 very different things. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time, because that conversation might be even more important than this one. Stay strong, bold, and healthy, and I'll see you next time.